Okay, that measures on call 6-2.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Mr.
Senator, if you'd like to proceed.
SB 1193.
This is file item number 10, members.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. SB 1193 is the sunset bill for the Board of Pharmacy and Veterinary Medical Board.
Second.
Respect for yes or no vote, members. Thank you.
Thank you. So I believe that was Mr. Gatto?
Yeah.
Okay, that bill was moved by Mr. Gatto, seconded by Mr. Bro. Testimony and support, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Christina DeCaro, representing the California Veterinary Medical Association. We are in strong support of the provisions pertaining to the Veterinary Medical Board. We'd like to thank this committee and the Senate committee for their thoughtful overview of the Veterinary Medical Board during Sunset Review this year. We've been very pleased with the improved efficiencies at the board, and we're particularly grateful for the negotiations between the two committees for compounding language that has been very, very important to the veterinary community. And so with that, we urge your strong support. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support.
Good morning. Anne Marie Del Manayo, Executive Officer of the Veterinary Medical Board. Obviously, in support of our sunset bill and the provisions, I want to thank Senator Hill for his diligent work with the Veterinary Medical Board to add some provisions that were long-standing practice issues that needed to be rectified. Also here to offer any technical support as needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support.
Hey, Ann Sodergren with the California State Board of Pharmacy, and we are also in support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support, please.
Gregory Kramer on behalf of Planned Parenthood Affiliates of California. We would like to thank the author, the committee, and the Board of Pharmacy for working so hard on this issue, particularly when it comes to updating licensure for clinics. Previously, we had waited in certain cases up to 100 days to get a permit. Now that is turned around, things are going the right direction, and we appreciate everybody's effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support.
Brian Warren with the California Pharmacists Association. We do not have a letter in, however, we do support the continuation of the Board of Pharmacy.
Thank you. May I ask if there's any additional testimony and support? Hearing and seeing none, let me move to testimony in opposition. Hearing and seeing none, let me turn it to members on the dais for questions. Mr. Jones, please.
Senator Hill, two concerns, and being on BMP for 4 years, I should probably know the answer to this one, but veterinary and pharmacy in a single bill kind of seems odd to me. And then the more concerning question is on, I think it's on one of the renewals, the fees are going from $780 to $4,000, which is a huge jump in the outsourcing facility fee. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, thank you. And the reason that there's two different professions within the bill, we have so many bills and so many different professions and boards and sometimes they get included in the same bill. The fee for outsourcing facilities, I think it was $780 for out-of-state outsourcing before. It doesn't begin to cover the work that they currently use. And so what we're trying to do is it does reflect a significant jump, and what we're trying to do is work with everyone on the bill to see what would be an appropriate cost of the board providing protection for California patients, to make sure by regulating all of these entities in other states that ship products to California. So what we're trying to do is really that's the amount that was established, but we're working with everyone to really come up with a better number that would be more reflective, one, and two, be more equitable, I think, to those participants.
At what point do you expect to have a final number?
Well, as this goes to appropriations, that will be the opportunity and the time to do it. So
Thank you.
We'll be doing it there. Thank you.
Let's move to another question. Mr. Daly, please.
So just to follow up on that, so it's not to exceed 4,000 then, for sure?
It's not. I don't believe the bill is. Sorry. It won't go above that, and it certainly won't. That's for sure. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Senator, would you like to close?
Respectfully ask for an aye vote, members. Thank you very much.
Okay, members, this is file item number 10, SB 1193, due pass to appropriations. The chair is recommending an aye. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Salas.
Aye.
Salas, aye. Bro. Baker. Baker not voting. Bloom. Campos. Chavez. Chavez, aye. Daly. Daly, aye. Dodd. Eggman. Gatto. Gatto, aye. Gomez. Holden. Jones. Jones not voting. Mullen. Mullen, aye. Ting. Ting, aye. Wood. Wood, aye.
That's 7-0. That measure is on call.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chair.
Senator. I believe the rest of your items are on consent.
I much appreciate that. Thank you very much, members. Appreciate
Thank
the time
you.
today.
At this time, let's move the consent calendar has been moved by Ms. Baker, seconded by Mr. Ting. Madam Secretary, call the roll. So on the consent calendar, we have file item number 11, SB 1194 by Senator Hill. File item number 12, SB 1196 by Senator Hill. File item 13, Senate Bill 1261 by Senator Stone.
Salas.
Salas, aye.
Salas, aye. Bro. Bro, aye. Baker. Baker, aye. Bloom. Campos. Chavez. Chavez, aye. Daly. Daly, aye. Dodd. Eggman. Gatto. Gatto, aye. Gomez. Holden. Jones. Jones, aye. Mullen. Mullen, aye. Ting. Ting, aye. Wood. Wood, aye. 10-0.
Okay, the consent calendar is out 10-0. We'll allow members to add on. At this time, members, let's move to Senator Allen, who is presenting on file item number 4, Senate Bill 778.
Thank you, Chair Salas and
Senator
members.
Allen.
So SB 778 is the product of extensive negotiations with stakeholders in the motor oil community, including car makers, consumer groups, environmental advocates, oil companies, and auto shops. And the most recent amendments represent a compromise approach that has now removed all opposition to the bill. And I just want to thank the committee staff for helping us to get there. In short, the bill does two things. First, it requires auto shops to perform maintenance services such as auto oil changes to register with the Bureau of Automotive Repair. Under current law, only shops that diagnose and repair malfunctions must register and follow specific requirements designed to protect customers from fraud and overselling of services. Shops that only perform maintenance services and not repairs are not currently regulated by the Bureau, as Assemblymember Jones knows well. SB 778 brings these shops under the Bureau's jurisdiction by creating another registration category called automotive maintenance providers. The bill subjects these shops to the same customer protection requirements as repair dealers, except these shops which are not diagnosing a problem with the vehicle but are simply providing maintenance services. Those shops would not have to provide the customer with an upfront estimate. Secondly, the bill requires all auto shops to follow the oil drain interval provided in the automaker's maintenance schedule when recommending the date or mileage for the next oil change. The goal of this provision is to finally do away with the 3,000-mile myth, the idea that drivers must change their oil every 3,000 miles just to keep their cars in good running order. We now know automakers, oil manufacturers have made significant advancements in the longevity of motor oil, and today a majority of vehicles only need to have their oil drained and replaced every 7,500 or 10,000 miles, in some cases even more than that with certain oils that are now available. However, there are some auto shops that still recommend that customers come back every 3,000 miles, playing to this outdated standard drilled into our minds by past generations, wastes the customer's time and money, and unnecessarily waste motor oil. So we've got Teresa Bui here with Californians Against Waste, and she's going to speak in support of the bill and help to answer any questions we may have.
Thank you. Let's move to testimony and support, please.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and members. My name is Teresa Bui with Californians Against Waste in strong support of SB 778, which would provide both consumer and environmental protection because it requires motor oil shops in recommending to their customers when they come back for their next oil interval to follow the car's owner's manual. Oil technology has changed enormously over the last 30 years. More than 50% of cars now can go 7,500 miles or more between oil changes, and yet in a 2012 survey by CarRecycle has shown that consumers, more than 10 million Californians, change their motor oil every 3,000 miles or less. And because of this, CarRecycle launched their Check Your Number campaign to encourage drivers to only change their motor oil as needed. And while consumer education is important, many maintenance shops are still continuing to use the old standards. As a result, millions of consumers are spending 1 to 3 times more than they need to on costly oil changes. And while California has a strong motor oil collection and recycling program, source reduction makes the most environmentally and economic sense. And because of that, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Christopher Castrillo on behalf of the California Product Stewardship Council and the Solid Waste Association of North America, California chapter, in support.
Thank you.
Kelly Dunn on behalf of California Lake Conservation Voters in support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Stan Van Vleck representing Oil Changers Company, 34 establishments throughout California now moving to support. Appreciate the work by the author. He's been significantly helpful in this, as well as your staff, Mr. Chi. Phenomenal job, and staff. We appreciate the efforts, and also the National Association for Oil Changing Industry has now moved to a support position as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support.
Diana Vasquez, Sierra Club, California, in support of the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members, Gary Conner representing automotive supply stores in the state, as well as Auto Care National Group. Thank the author for all the hard work he's done, as well as the staff and committee consultants. We remove our opposition to the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members, Jeff Sickinger with KP Public Affairs on behalf of the Western States Petroleum Association. In a similar position, we appreciate all the hard work of the author and staff in addressing stakeholder amendments and concerns, including ours. And based on the June 23rd version of the bill, pleased to remove our opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, let me ask if there's additional testimony and support. Hearing and seeing none, let me move to testimony in opposition. Hearing and seeing none, let me turn it back to members on the dais for questions. Mr. Daly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Real quick, so in the little town where I live, there's one person that changes oil there. They do it to the manufacturer's specifications for the vehicle. Are they going to be required to have to get a license or pay a fee to come into compliance with this law?
Okay, so as part of some of the changes that have been made, the answer is yes. They wanted to be under the regulatory control of the BAR, and so they will be registering with them as part of their work. So it now gives the BAR will have some regulatory control over what they're doing.
Okay, I don't know if they're already underneath that. I'm going to lay off the bill when I get home. I'm going to ask them, and then I'll be able to make the determination on the floor. I get what you're trying to do here. Totally understand it. But when you only have one place to go and one more license, it's very difficult for them to stay in business. And if we don't have them there, people have to travel 50 miles to the nearest, like, Jiffy Lube. So it could be a real inconvenience if we don't keep that station there. So I'll reserve my vote for the floor, and hopefully I can get to support it. They may already be under the recommendation already, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jones, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Allen, as you're probably aware, my bill, AB 873, passed Senate BMP yesterday, and some of the concerns were brought up regarding your bill and my bill and double jointing language, and I probably just for the record need to confirm that once the bills both get off their respective floors, there will be a chance for double jointing language, and just want to make sure you're aware of that.
Yeah.
And if you had any comments on that.
I've always, been very vocal in making it clear that I wanted to work with you and make sure that there were no conflicts between our two bills. And now that these changes have been made and some of the advancements that you've made on yours, I think we probably ought to sit down, have our staff sit down and make sure we're in good coordination.
Right, yeah, and that'll be all worked out in the double jointing language, so thank you.
Okay, let me ask additional questions for members on the dais. Hearing and seeing none. Senator, would you like to close?
Just a big appreciation to all of the various folks who have very differing interests and goals, and there's all sorts of challenges about the regulatory scheme that we're all trying to address, and I just want to appreciate everyone coming together to support this common sense measure, to work with us, and obviously also to my staff and to the committee staff for the hard work that's gone into trying to get this together. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
All right, and thank you, Senator, for taking the last set of amendments to help address a lot of the concerns to get everybody at least on the same page. So appreciate that. With that, it does have a do pass recommendation from the chair.
Thank
Members,
you, Mr.
this is file item number 4, SB 778. This is due pass to appropriations. I need a motion on the bill. Moved by Mr. Chavez. I need a second by Mr. Wood. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Salas.
Aye.
Salas, aye. Bro. Bro, no. Baker. Baker, aye. Bloom. Campos. Chavez. Chavez, aye. Daly. Daly, not voting. Dodd. Eggman. Gatto. Gatto, aye. Gomez. Holden. Jones. Jones, aye. Mullen. Ting. Wood. Wood, aye.
Thank you, members.
Okay, that measures on call 6-1. Thank you, Senator. Okay, let's go ahead and move and sign in order. We have Senator McGuire. This is SB 1174. Members, this is file item number 8. Senator, when you're ready to begin.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, or I guess still good morning, members. Thank you so much for your evaluation of this bill, Mr. Chair, and want to say thank you to the committee staff as well. We will be taking those committee amendments in appropriation, so do appreciate that and all the work that the committee staff brought forward. SB 1174 stems from a growing significant concern over the excessive prescription of psychotropic medication to foster youth in California. It follows a series of hearings held by the California State Senate Committees on Health and Human Services regarding the oversight and monitoring of psych meds and mental health services for youth in foster care. And even with the growing attention to the situation, the problem is now more severe than ever. In California's 63,000 foster youth are the ones who are suffering the consequences of our state's inaction and lack of oversight over the last 15 years. And if it'd be okay with the chair, some very quick statistics. Even with the current safeguards in place, which we currently have, called the JV 220 process, whereby judges decide what medications, what dosage are provided to foster youth, over the past 15 years, we've actually seen a 1,400% increase in the use of psychotropic and antipsychotics in the foster care system in California. Nearly 1 in 4 California foster teens are prescribed a psych med. Of those, nearly 60% were prescribed an antipsychotic, and this is the most powerful drug class there is, and it's susceptible to damaging side effects. 36% are prescribed the multiple medications. And to make matters worse, many of these antipsychotics are off-label, estimated to be about 75% within the stream and the foster care system. And off-label means that they have not been approved by the FDA for prescribed use. As reported by the San Jose Mercury News, the Food and Drug Administration authorizes antipsychotics for children only in cases of severe mental illness. But evidence suggests that medical professionals often prescribe them to California foster children for behavioral problems. In addition, California spends more on psych drugs for foster youth than on any other kind of medication. In the last decade, California spent more than $226 million on psych meds for foster youth, an astounding 72% of total spending. Additionally, there are substantial long-term costs of treating side effects associated with these medications. Psych meds are potent meds that have well-known and documented side effects, including serious lifelong and irreversible impacts if they are not prescribed appropriately. When the Child and Family Services Improvement and Innovation Act of 2011 was brought forward, it required each state to oversee and monitor the use of psych meds. California currently has no requirements to identify those who are overprescribing medications to foster youth. We have no system in California, none, for evaluating the medical soundness of high rates of prescribing, and no way to measure the efficacy of these practices. As you can imagine, I think that all of us can agree this is unacceptable, given that it is our state's responsibility as the guardian of these kids to monitor the administration of these drugs and to ensure the health and well-being of foster youth. In 2014, Senator Ted Lieu and his very capable staff as chair of the Senate B&P committee sent a letter to the medical board pointing to findings that doctors are prescribing drugs that have not been approved for children and that they are sometimes prescribing without reviewing the children's medical records or drug history. He called on the medical board to conduct an investigation into these medical professionals and come up with recommendations to minimize these dangerous practices. And I do know, Mr. Chair, you have some incredible staff on your team that were part of that, and want to say thank you to them. In response to legislative pressure, the Medical Board and the Department of Healthcare Services adopted a one-year data use agreement that allows for the sharing of prescriber data in order to identify the outlying prescribers. Such data sharing practices should not be a one-time basis, and this is what this bill does. This bill provides foster youth with the same protections and complaint procedures that are already in place for private pay residents. So what we know is if you have insurance in this state, you have the protections. If you're a foster youth, you don't. And this bill is about equity and care and protections for all. SB 1174 establishes a formal ongoing process for the California Medical Board to responsibly review and confidentially investigate psych medication prescription patterns outside the standard of care. With this data sharing agreement with DHCS, the medical board will have a regular, reliable information to work from, instead of depending on current individual complaint processes. By the way, this complaint process about potential overprescribing has turned up 0 cases to foster youth. And I'd like to just go through that. In 2014-15, there were 8,267 complaints regarding overprescriptions. Out of those 8,267, only 1,381 cases were open for investigation at the medical board. From there, only 471 cases were referred to the Office of the Attorney General for filing of a formal accusation. In that year, only 47 medical professionals were disciplined for inappropriate prescribing. Not one of the 8,267 complaints came from the California foster care system, because there is no process to be able to report outlying prescribers. SB 1174 is necessary because it looks across patients for an individualized prescriber and asks if there are patterns of prescribing that are excessive and outside the realm of appropriate standards. It protects medical professionals who work with high-need populations through ensuring qualified child psychiatrists at the medical board analyze individual health factors and medical records just like they do for any other case, no matter if you have insurance or not. It's simple. Without data, the medical board cannot perform their mandated oversight duty. And I'm going to end it with this, Mr. Chair, because I know that you're running late, and I apologize. It's supported by the National Center for Youth Law and the California Youth Connection. And I want to take a moment to say thank you to Assemblymember Wood for all of his work on this bill and for bringing forward the amendments in the last as chair of Health. So I'm very grateful for that, Assemblymember. And this has had bipartisan support all the way through. Would be grateful to have your committee support today as well.
Thank you. Let's move to testimony and support.
Hello. My name is Tisha Ortiz. I am 23 years old and a former foster youth. I first entered the foster care system at age 4 and went in and out of the system from ages 8 to 12. Then I stayed in the foster care system until I turned 18 and emancipated. I went through many traumatic experiences in and out of the foster care system. I was physically, emotionally, sexually, and verbally abused. I survived it all, and today I'm a student at California State University East Bay and an advocate with the National Center for Youth Law. Last week, when the Assembly Health Committee heard SB 1174, the representative of California Psychiatric Association referred to foster youth as damaged and severely damaged. For me and the many other former foster youth children present, this comment was very hurtful. We are not damaged or severely damaged unless you count the lifelong serious side effects of the inappropriate medications I was prescribed by doctors who thought about foster youth in the same damaging way as this person, that I couldn't be helped, that there was nothing else to be done to help me heal or recover from trauma, that my behavior needed to be managed, and that I needed to be sedated. At age 14, the doctors gave me various powerful drugs. At one point, I was on 4 different medications, 2 antipsychotics, an antidepressant, and a mood stabilizer. These powerful and sedating psychotropic medications caused serious side effects like weight gain, tunnel vision, and I felt like a zombie. I couldn't stay awake in class. I also developed an irregular heartbeat. When I would try to talk to the doctor in the group home, the doctor wouldn't listen to my concerns and told me that I didn't know what I was talking about. The 5-minute sessions that I did have were all about upping or adding on more medication and not on what was really going on with my mental health. What I actually needed was therapeutic behavioral services to help deal with my self-injurious behaviors, as well as trauma-focused therapy for the sexual and physical abuse I had experienced, as well as the loss of my mother while I was in care. Doctors wouldn't listen to me about what was going on with me and that I was having constant flashbacks, which they called hearing voices. They weren't voices. They were just flashbacks from the traumas that I went through. Instead of listening to what I had to say and my needs around my mental health, the doctors would have a 30-minute session with the group home who would give the doctor their biased opinion on how I should be medicated. Before aging out, I was set up with a trauma-focused therapist. 9 years after the initial abuse, when I was 8 years old. Those services were given to me too late. I was already going to turn 18 and exit out of the system, and I needed that support earlier and for more time. Doctors who work with foster youth need to be educated on trauma and the differences between behaviors and mental illnesses. I was exhibiting behaviors that doctors wanted to medicate me for, instead of actually helping me deal with the trauma and cope without self-harm. SB 1174 will help identify doctors who are too quick to prescribe medications and who are over-reliant on them. Senate Bill 1174 will provide an opportunity to ensure these prescribers understand the standard of care, are distinguishing between behavioral issues and mental illnesses and trauma. SB 1174 will improve the health and safety of foster youth like me. Please, I urge your aye vote on SB 1174. Foster youth are not severely damaged. We are resilient and strong. So we need to stop drugging our kids.
Thank you for being here and for sharing your testimony. So let's move on to additional testimony and support.
I'm Jennifer Simoes with the Medical Board of California. We're supportive of this bill. We'd like to thank the author for taking amendments to address most of our concerns. As Senator McGuire said, we are currently under a data usage agreement with Department of Health Care Services and Department of Social Services. However, that's only a snapshot in time, and we don't receive complaints regarding foster children being inappropriately prescribed to. It's important to note once we have our pediatric psychiatrist review this data, we will go through our normal complaint process, which is confidential, and basically the normal complaint process, including obtaining medical records, physician review, and expert review, and nothing becomes public until an accusation is filed, and the medical board respectfully requests your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support.
Yes, my name is Anna Johnson from the National Center for Youth Law. We're the sponsors, and happy to support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support. You can go ahead and lower that.
Padilla with the Western Center on Law and Poverty in support of this bill.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support.
My name is Noah Lehman. I performed a policy analysis at Berkeley's Goldman School of Public Policy, and I'm in strong support.
Thank you. Additional testimony and support. Hearing and seeing none, let me move to testimony in opposition. Please proceed.
Stuart Thompson on behalf of the California Medical Association. We do still have some outstanding concerns with the bill. We are looking to make sure that the bill is narrowly tailored to make sure that the review applies to those physicians that truly need to have a second look taken by the medical board. The author has amendments that would take CMA to neutral. I'd like to thank the author and the sponsor for working together, and we look forward to removing our opposition in the next committee when those amendments go into print. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional testimony in opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Christopher Castrillo on behalf of the California Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. Still currently opposed unless amended. That being said, I want to reference conversations we've had with the author and sponsors from the beginning. I think we've gotten to a place where we're fairly close. Reference the amendments that they've worked out with the California Medical Association with respect to further requirements that a qualified provider from the medical board be actually reviewing the data that's proposed to be provided. We've agreed to take a closer look at that when the amendments are in print, continue to have conversations while on summer recess, and hope to come to an agreeable solution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Randall Hager for the California Psychiatric Association. I think Chris Castrillo summed up our position very admirably. We do have some continuing concerns, but we do have to acknowledge the author's efforts to talk to us, to arrive at mutual understandings, and to move the bill forward with some amendments, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me ask for additional comments, testimony in opposition. Hearing and seeing none, let me turn it to members on the dais for questions. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just briefly, I wanted to acknowledge the young lady that testified and commend her bravery for coming up here and speaking to all of us and sharing your story. Thank you. After being on BNP for 4 years, we've heard many compelling stories like that about our foster program. And while it does a lot of good work, it does require some improvements. Thank you, Senator McGuire, for working on this, and I'll be supporting your bill today. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me ask for additional comments. Assemblymember Chavez.
Yes, Senator McGuire, on your bill, I was just wondering, it's required to conduct a quarterly basis analysis of the Medi-Cal physicians, the medical board. Where'd you get a quarter? Why every, 90 days?
It's from the medical. Sorry. Remember, it's from the medical board themselves. And I'll let the medical board talk about that, as that is an item that they would like on a quarterly basis.
Pretty quick, so I was just wondering, how are you going to manage that medical board? Why'd you pick 90 days?
Through the chair, we'll allow question to be addressed by the medical board, please.
Thank you. So what we were trying to do is making sure that we receive it on a flow basis. We didn't want to get it like on an annual basis where we got a huge ton of data. We have to basically contract with expert consultants, and in this case, pediatric psychiatrists, review that data, and we wanted to keep it kind of like on an ongoing basis so it's not an unmanageable workload.
And are these reported to you on a routine basis, or how are you going to do it?
So right now we have an existing DUA that's just a snapshot in time, and so we have a pediatric psychiatrist reviewing that 6 months of data. So we're going to do it the same way. We might have to hire another contract with another expert consultant, a pediatric psychiatrist, to basically they review the data, and they've requested some additional data. They'll help them make a decision just to point to they think it might possibly have a red flag, and that would be the same way. We would handle it the same as if we got a complaint like John Smith calling in and complaining about his doctor. Once that is identified, we go through our normal complaint and investigation process. So it's not handled any differently than any other complaint that we would receive.
Thank you. So you can do it. And I just want to thank you. The Senator brings this forward. This is really a critical issue, and I think you highlighted a very critical point, and I'll strongly support your bill.
Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you. Let me ask for additional questions from members on the dais. Hearing and seeing none. Senator, would you like to close?
Thank you, Chair. I want to say thank you to you again, your staff. I also want to say thank you to both CMA as well as the psychiatrists for all of their work on this. And this has been a bipartisan bill, and I want to say thank you to all of you for all of your support, and would respectfully ask for an aye vote.
All right. Thank you Thank you, Senator, for working with the committee staff, my office, and all the stakeholders involved. Appreciate that. Understand you're trying to get at transparency to have the data as we continue to move forward. And with that, it does have a aye recommendation from the chair. The bill's been moved by Mr. Jones, seconded by Ms. Baker. This is Senate Bill 1174, due pass to appropriations. Appreciate you addressing those concerns as it moves forward. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Salas.
Aye.
Salas, aye. Bro. Baker. Baker, aye. Bloom. Campos. Chavez. Chavez, aye. Daly. Daly, aye. Dodd. Eggman. Gatto. Gatto, aye. Gomez. Holden. Jones. Jones, aye. Mullen. Ting. Wood. Wood, aye.
Okay, that measures on call 7-0. Thank you, Senator. Okay, let's go ahead and move now to Senate Bill 66 by Senator Leyva. Members, this is file item number 1.